Hi, I'm Ken Lee from Innovacorp. We're here to speak to you today about fundamentals of a great pitch. We're going to talk about sales and marketing. So this is about how do you get this great product that you developed into market, right? So it's this is a very important slide because up to this point, I mean, you could be laying out a very well thought out solution. But if you can't get it to market, or you don't have a very good plan, or you don't come across as having a good plan, it's not going to be accepted in terms that you're going to be able to execute on it. So the things under this this slide, you want to talk about how you're going to go to market, right? So you've got a product now. What strategy are you going to use, like an overall strategy, in order to reach the target markets? And then you want to talk about the target markets, right? So I'm going to reach them this way, but my customers look like what? So this doesn't mean, what do they look like physically. You want to be able to define what the person who is using, what's their either demographics or unique characteristics that make them a customer. So they could be a middle manager on an engineering assembly line, as an example. You want to talk about what the user is like, who is going to be using it. So then you want to talk about how you're going to reach your customers. So you've got a product, and that's not going to do you much good if people don't know that you're there, right? So you want to talk about how you're going to advertise or promote. You might want to consider a strategic alliance with a partner, perhaps, to further get you, faster to market, which is an important point. It's not just getting to market, it's how fast can you get to market, right? So you can go slow with a different strategy. Another strategy, if you really want to accelerate that, you want to kind of lay that out. So depending on your business, you may want to, and you may need to, if it's in high tech. Technology moves very quickly, so you would need to get that accelerated. If you're in a traditional company, you may have more time. If you're in the drug company, which is the life sciences, those are typically 15-year cycles. So there's all different life cycles. So in here, you want to talk about product positioning. So is your product going to compete on price alone? You might have to initially to get someone to consider giving you the time of day, as an example. But really, price alone, it's a kiss of death if that is your only strategy. You really have to focus on what's the value, right? So on a number of things. So value, if it's a high value that's not duplicated by competitors, then you've got a better chance of sustaining, surviving. And also, when you focus on value, then you can get a bigger price for your product. So higher margins, better story for an investor, happier day for yourself, right? The other thing you need to consider is sales cycle. So I see this a lot. So people develop things, they put it in market, and hey, it's ready to go. They got all the marketing strategy lined up, and it's not selling, right? Because inherently, when you're putting a product into sale, you really need to understand who you're selling to, which is, what does the customer look like? So if you're selling into a telecom or somewheres which is highly traditional, as an example, the sales cycles tend to be very, very long, typically, not always, but they typically are very long. So if you're set up and you're funded to get your sales in 2 months, but you're selling into a market where the sales cycle is 2 years, then right off the bat, you've shown that you don't really understand your market. You've shown that you're on a Titanic that's going to sink. You've only got 2-month runway, but you're selling it into a 2-year sales cycle. So you need to understand that type of thing. And then you also need to talk about your channels to market. So in some cases, you can go direct. Other cases, it may be more advantageous to go through a middleman of some sort. In other cases, you would want to go through subject matter experts or installers, or installing equipment and you ride along with them and let them incorporate your product into what they're selling. Other different things like that. So you want to be able to talk about these things. So some tips on this section. You really want to convince your audience that, hey, I've thought out how I'm going to market this thing, right? And it can't be just superficial in terms of, hey, I'm going to put some ads in this journal and everything will happen, right? It's got to be kind of like a chess play. So you got to be able to show that either you've done this before or you have people on staff who kind of know what the go-to-market strategy is and be able to convince an investor that you know what you're talking about, you know how to sell things, right? And that, that you're aware of the environment that you're selling into. All of that stuff is key. Of course, you can have any marketing strategy that you can sell anything, and if price is of no consideration, well, you can hire Bill Gates to be your spokesman or something, right? That's, first of all, not credible, and it's also not something that you as a startup company is going to be able to afford. So you want to be able to show, not only in marketing and sales strategies, but you want to be able to show that you can think lean, because you're a startup, and you can extend your runway, you can do a lot of stuff with a little. So anything that doesn't break the bank is going to be good in the eyes of the investors, as long as it's effective. So it's no use spending something that's cheap, but it's not going to be effective. You want to be able to show that you can get a lot of bang for your buck. So again, just to emphasize that the marketing and sales go-to-market is usually not very thought out very well. It's very superficial. I like to see people get into a lot of detail. Show me that you really know about the marketing channels. Again, it might be an ecosystem thing where all these players lined up. You know who's doing what to who and who the players are to get through the channels for your product, and not just to say that we're going to go to some trade show or publish somewheres or that's it has to go deeper than that.